Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
With the big, bold flavour of HP sauce, making breakfast legendary.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. I'm with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Why don't you text us on 81215? Or you can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website. There you have it.
Hi, Frank.
Hello.
Morning.
Good morning.
Okay, thanks for joining us.
Doing that thing that they do on chat shows when you've been talking to someone backstage for like 20 minutes, and then when they come on stage, they shake hands with you like they haven't seen you for ages.
Yeah.
I'm just glad to see you, to be honest. I did a stand-up comedy gig last night, and a friend of another act was on and said to me, you on Frank Skinner's show tomorrow morning? And I went, yeah. And he said, it's in the news he's leaving that, isn't it? And I went,
what?
I went, is it? And he said, no, I'm sure. I think I might have got it confused. Like, started backpedaling and all this stuff. You are here though, aren't you? It's
here I am.
Excellent.
This is me live.
Yeah. He then said, I think I read it about 2 months ago. And I went, maybe you didn't.
I noticed you don't go on to deny that, Frank.
Yeah, nothing.
Well, I'm just listening to the whole story.
That is the whole story.
You've got to gather your facts. No, rumour is I'm going to be replaced by Jurgen Klopp.
Oh, good. Well,
no.
Popular with the fans?
No, I don't know where that's come from.
Me neither.
Maybe, one of the bosses from Absolute got drunk and said, actually, we're sacking him.
No, he was very insistent it was in the news.
Okay.
But anyway, good to see you.
Gutted.
Good to see you.
It's going to be fine. It's just going to be fine. Don't worry. I've been partying.
What?
No.
Oh no! What have you been up to?
It was Steve Coogan, man of 1,000
Yes.
voices. It was his 50th, so so I went to that.
Oh, I'm well, Joel. That's a good invitation.
Yeah, that sounds like
it was.
You've done well for yourself there. Not bad for a boy from Birmingham.
Well, I'm sort of from his past, to be honest. I don't really see him much now, but I am.
We won't delve too deeply.
No, well, we had like a period in the early 90s when we hung out. So I think I was there for nostalgia reasons, but I still hold him in great affection. But it was held at Shakespeare's Globe.
Oh, lovely venue.
The Globe Theatre.
Yes, the Globe Theatre. Fantastic. No corners to hide in. That always worries me at a party.
For a showbiz party, though.
It is where I like to.
Was it in the Groundlings area?
It was in. There's a bit underneath. There's like a bit called the Underglobe. So, you know the Underglobe. Mm-hmm. So I was.
That sounds a bit your friends in the S&M community.
It sounds a bit. I'm a bit chafed in the Underglobe.
Yeah.
Which also sounds like a quote from Professor Stanley Unwin, who is one of my great comedy heroes who no one's ever heard of.
Never heard of him.
Professor Stanley Unwin, his act was that he developed his own language. So he starts talking, and if he's telling you that he'd been to Steve, he said, "Oh yes, I went to the Steve Coogan, a great party out, and deep joy in the Thundermold, and much joy in singing and dancing." And it's like, what did he say? Right. And the whole thing is like, look him up, Google.
Is he no longer with us?
No, he's no longer with us. He actually had a whole puppet show based around him.
Commercial breakfast radio, everyone.
Sorry, okay. But I'm always like to spread the Professor Stanley Unwin word.
So what happened in the Underglobe?
So I got to the doors of the Underglobe.
Oh, no.
It sounds like Orpheus doing a morning radio show. And there's 2 armed policemen at the door.
Right.
Oh, I would have thought that was some comedy thing.
Automatic weapons policemen, in stab jackets and stuff. And
hot.
Yeah, they must have been hot in those jackets.
Sweltering, yeah.
But I remembered someone told me that when you get armed policemen, they have to come in pairs. You can't have one on his own. Because if one of them just loses it and starts firing randomly at the public, the other one has to shoot him.
Right.
Yeah. which I've always found a fascinating piece of information.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, it'd be easiest for.
Why don't people have two devil dogs?
They should do, shouldn't they? Frank, that's one of the best ideas you've ever had.
Yeah, if one turns on the owner, the other one takes that one out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there was a whole... All night long, guests were debating whether these coppers were genuine or not. My argument is that you cannot stand on the South Bank dressed as a policeman carrying a Mark automatic weapon.
You say guests. I imagine there were some impressive faces there.
Well, I thought they were going to be more impressive, because I thought, well, it's going to be at least Barack Obama if there's two armed policemen outside.
Yeah.
He never went.
He wasn't there.
Yeah.
I didn't spot him.
John Thompson?
He was there.
Oh.
But I love John Thompson,
So
but he doesn't need two armed policemen, surely. Unless he really loses his temper. Yeah, so he listens to the show, actually. He was telling
Does
me.
he?
Hello, John.
Hi, John.
Maybe he knows if they were real or not. But it was, they were chatty. As I've chatted to policemen because I used to live by the Houses of Parliament. I often bumped
Frank,
into
can I just interrupt you?
policemen.
I'm going to anyway. You've been to Steve Coogan's, the party of the year, and all you're talking about is the armed policeman outside. I'd quite like to know who was inside.
Okay. Well, it was quite dark. It was a good do, don't get me wrong. There was 3 courses.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So you're in Coogan's party.
So yes, it was. I was driven there by David Baddiel.
Oh, he didn't drive, did he?
Yeah, he's a great man for the driving. I think you've said this before. Did you see him at the BAFTAs or something and he'd driven?
He drove to the BAFTAs.
Yeah, I like that. It's like I don't know, whenever I watch a James Bond film, so, the classic Bonds, I always, for all the gadgetry and the beautiful women and the action and the shooting, it's always the parking. I'm always thinking, wow, look at that, he just parked.
I know.
Look at the parking space outside that building. I mean, just so impressive. And I would have assumed that we wouldn't be able to park on a Saturday night in the centre of one of the world's great cities, but Dave believes, and I think if you believe, there's always a space. That's what I think about.
Did he find a space?
He did. Although we had put it this way, it was a space not without controversy, to the point where I took a photograph of his back wheel in case we needed it in court.
Oh, was he tiptoeing into another space? Was
No,
it one of those
Was it double yellow?
circumstances?
I'm not sure about this. If I actually talk about this and it's illegal parking, can it get done
I
retrospectively?
don't think so.
Oh, let's
No.
hope so.
I think your defence could be that you were making it up for comic effect.
Oh,
on the
yes,
radio.
that's good. Thanks for that.
Okay.
Okay, well, I won't put the picture on social media.
Okay.
I will.
My view is, if you park next to the end of the double yellow lines, okay,
Yes.
we're on to one of my favourite subjects now, parking.
Yeah.
As long as the tyre is not touching the double yellow lines, that's fine.
Correct.
Now, there is a theory that if the car overhangs the double yellow lines, that is illegal
Oh,
parking.
this is like corner
Did
kicks,
David
isn't
Baddiel
it?
have overhang?
He did. He
Had an overhang.
He had quite massive overhang, but there is clear space, but there is black tarmac between the yellow lines and his tyre. Now, to me, that seems fine. It's a bit like,
I think he's in the clear.
I used to watch Sumo on Channel 4.
Yeah.
And
That was a dark period in your life.
Yeah, and the idea is to throw them out of the ring, but sometimes they would teeter. They would really teeter over the edge, and their bellies would be out of bounds, but their feet are still in, and they'd recover, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Teetering is fine in sumo. So this is the
I've
same.
never met an expert before.
No, well there you go. I've been to a few bash shows. So what they're called? Is that what they're called? Have I made that up? There'll be a sumo enthusiast listening to this.
I'm sure.
Squatted. In squat position.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so
They
glad.
love a thong.
They do.
Oh, they love a thong.
Some people think they're gone out of fashion, but no, not the sumos. Yes.
So we've heard about the parking. That's good, and the fact that there were the security arrangements outside. What was the actual party like?
The
Frank?
party was very nice. It was a bit. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
it was nice, and he did a great speech, and it was good to see a lot of people. You know, I was sitting next to Eddie Izzard, and, you know, talking to a lot of comics.
Yeah.
And all that was good, but it was a bit loud for me.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean,
The music.
you know, on this show, we have a system on this show which I think works very well. Is that when we want to listen to music, we put music on for the readers, and when we want to talk, we just talk like this.
Yeah.
But if you can see if I can recreate. If you can imagine that the conversation on this show was like this. Yeah, so I went. Hugh Grant was there.
Was it?
You know Hugh Grant, he was there. I didn't speak. There was a lot of people who I could see them.
Right.
I could see them across, but I didn't actually. No, I didn't actually get. No, not for me, thanks. No, I'm a recovering alcoholic. Yeah, it was a bit like that. And
one of Rock Hudson's cocktail parties. It was the 1950s.
It's what I call a sore throat event. So after half an hour, I felt there's two things that give me a sore throat: being at a party like that, or watching Johnny Vegas on television.
Yeah.
If I watch Johnny Vegas, he sounds like he's always got a sore throat. I start coming out in sympathy with him. Mm-hmm. I can feel. I even go a bit northern.
Was he there?
I think he was there.
He'd have been there.
I imagine he'd have had a sore throat the next day then.
Yeah, there was a lot of people in the distance.
I bet he had a plastic bag with tinnies in it. No, they do that.
I think that's Ricky Tomlinson, I think.
Well, it's hardly a world of difference.
Yeah. I bet they've sat in a few waiting rooms up for a part.
Yeah.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So,
You all right?
that was the party, basically. I can't cope with the loud stuff, though.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I don't
I
like
know
to-
what you mean. I can't bear it.
I don't like to feel people's breath against my ear.
You done?
Those days are gone.
Oh.
No, I don't. By the way, I was talking to a driver yesterday who told me that he challenges every parking ticket and fine he gets and wins about 70%.
That's all
He
right.
said you just go to a room and a bloke sort of goes, "Oh, all right."
He
Yeah.
sounds a
And
nice
lets you
person to
off.
be in a relationship with.
I don't know. It made me think that I've been a bit lax. He's just accepting, accepting the
FYI,
reprimand.
Percy has tweeted us, as long as the tyres are not on the line, you're fine.
There you
That's
go.
what
That's
I
what
think.
I said. I don't know what he says. I don't know what the words are to that song.
No.
But
And I
it's
suspect
well
no one's
done.
ever sung it over a parking issue. Quite frankly.
Oh, I don't know. I bet he's overhung a few double yellow lines in his time, Pavarotti. Speaking of the famous, have you seen the new advert for the Meerkat advert with
No.
Nicole Kidman?
Oh, yeah.
Who sees adverts these days? Somebody else said this to me earlier this week. They were like, I was doing an event. I was doing a gig at like a sort of a corporate event. And this woman said, so-and-so will be in. You'll know about them from their TV advert at the moment. I very nearly said, who sees TV adverts? Unless you're watching live football and it's on in the gaps.
Oh, you very nearly said it to her, but you said it to me.
I did say
I
it
think
to
that
you, yeah.
tells you about a difference between respect and being paid.
I feel like we've got more of a rapport, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got more of a David Rappaport. I think that's true.
Good reference. Yes, I am familiar with this ad.
What do you make of that? Of course I shouted when I first saw it, what I always shout at these adverts. How much money does a person need? I always
What's
shout that.
happened?
I'll
What
tell
is
you
this
what my
advert?
take
Tell
out
me,
from
Tell me.
Well, Frank, do you want to give a brief précis?
Oh, nice.
Well, yes.
The two Meerkats.
The two Meerkats are talking. The sort of smoking jacket one and the one who's some sort of dog's body.
So,
if
okay.
a meerkat can
So,
be a dog's body.
May I just say, don't be too hard on him because he favours similar sartorial choices to you.
Yes, and I respect him for
He
that.
in a
comes...
Gotham hoodie.
No, what is it, Frank? He has a cropped shirt, like Frank's pyjama top. He comes down the stairs with hairy, spindly legs, wax march, and exactly like Frank does.
Anyway, it turns out he's got a hot date, and the door opens. It's Nicole Kidman.
Right.
Now, before we go any further, I don't even know if that would be legal for a start-up. And there it is on mainstream television.
That's a good point, actually.
I used to think, do you remember when there was a suggestion in an advert that Melanie Sykes was dating the Churchill Insurance animal?
Really?
Yeah.
I do not remember
Yeah,
that.
you used to see them on holiday together and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's absolutely disgusting.
Sorry to talk about Chris Evans.
There's a bloke in the paper today has got himself into serious trouble for a similar... But it's not suggesting it's all right. I mean, these people are role models. And it's just a throwaway thing. So she turns up, Nicole Kidman of all people.
There's two, aren't there? So there's Sergei is the cropped, spindly legs,
Him.
and then the other one there's the Hugh Hefner sort of one.
Yeah, exactly. But Nicole Kidman is. I read somewhere she's 6'11", I think.
In real life?
Yeah.
No, she is.
She is.
She's tall.
She's 7 inches taller than me. I can't believe that.
She's massively tall. That might be in heels, but she's massively tall.
Stilts, do you think?
No.
Yeah.
And so, the meerkat thing. I mean, the Tom Cruise thing confused us. The meerkat. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just, it's coming down on a sort of a ramp from Tom Cruise. But she says to the meerkat, actually, I've got a pair of pyjamas that'll fit you. Still lying around. But, well, I'll tell you in a minute.
Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
So, yeah.
We're talking
Kidman.
about, Kidman and the Meerkats.
Kidman and the Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's something like 6'11". I'm serious. In the early you see early pictures of her, she was always standing next to one of them big rulers.
Oh, yeah.
Is she getting taller? She feels like she is.
I suppose if you work with the Meerkats, then you must feel like you are.
I don't know, at least they're upright. Like so few of the Animal Kingdom, they do go on... they are erectus.
They are.
Yeah, not on the all fours.
They're stretched to their full capacity, though. At all times,
Well,
Meerkats.
They thought they were until they went out with Nicole Kidman. But she's a woman who... I don't know if you ever saw that To Die For. Do you ever see that film?
Oh, I love that
Didn't see that
movie.
film.
One of my favourites, Frank.
In that film, she looks like the most beautiful woman in the universe. And then not too long after, she wasn't like old or anything, but she suddenly became somebody. She suddenly became a ghost from a restoration comedy.
Right.
It's like sort of Miss Havisham kind of look she adopted. She sort of went white. She went her hair and everything went white. Like, Marie Antoinette, when she was driven in the coach to the Bastille. I think it was to the Bastille. Was so terrified by the crowd, what the crowds called out. She went completely white instantly.
Like me on the way to Absolute Radio in the morning.
Yeah. I imagine if you're in the throes of it with some sort of rodent, that could happen again.
I don't like the way one of the Meerkats wears glasses. I just think it's strange.
What, you think you should go for contact lenses because it's on telly?
Yeah, I mean, why has he got the glasses on?
But anyway, the thing that really shocks me is she appears, and like in the old Carry On film tradition, that if a sort of a babe appears in a film, then you get that music, and just to sort of point up the
and then Sid James
sauciness.
and Bernard Bresslaw start sort of coughing and spluttering.
Yeah, and Kenneth Connor goes. But anyway, when she appears, they play "Take My Breath Away."
Right.
Oh, they do.
Or Take Your Breath Away, as I say at Coogan's party, to people who were speaking in my ear. Now, Take My Breath Away is from Top Gun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Frank.
very much associated with Tom Cruise.
Very much.
You know, you're so right.
I reckon she knew nothing about that. I reckon she's done the advert, she's driven home the articulated lorry full of cash, and then she'll find out somewhere down the road that they've done that to her. They've pulled a bit of a... That's my verdict.
I love the way you sympathise with the highly paid talent.
No, but I bet the agent...
Yeah.
The agent will say, she'll say, who said that? And he'll say, I'm down here. What? Oh, there you are. And he'll say, yeah, they've put, it turns out they've put Take My Breath Away over there. She'll be absolutely...
Incandescent.
Incandescent. Number one super guy. Yeah, so we'll watch that unfold in the news.
Yeah, we will.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
A meerkat took my dignity.
That's
sorry.
nice. Can I interrupt your meerkat reverie? Because I would like to allocate a small portion of the show this morning to my new crush.
I don't think they'd be able to handle a Premier League game. A meerkat referee.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely.
Your new crush?
A new crush.
Are you familiar with the work of Justin Trudeau?
Oh, the new Canadian...
Yeah, just a bit.
True dat.
Oh, I like True Dat, JT.
True dat.
He is a stone cold fox. I've never seen anything like it.
You see, I don't...
Come on.
I think he's what the French call joli laid, because I think I see
he's
pictures.
Just jolly.
I see pictures of him where.
Yeah, I see pictures of him.
I see pictures of him where he looks hot, and pictures of him where he looks like an action man that's been left by a candle and started to melt a bit in the fizzog.
Are you out of your mind?
Well, that's a big question.
He looks like... And also, not just is he... I'm losing my voice, I'm so excited. Not just is he hot, he does it all.
He does it all?
He's been a teacher, he was a snowboard instructor, he's acted in a movie.
I can't believe women believe these. Women believe these stories.
He won a boxing match once.
I used to say I was a channel swimmer in Birmingham nightclubs.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Justin Trudeau doesn't go to Birmingham nightclubs.
When they could smell the goose on me.
I like that you're comparing yourself to JT. Frank, he's extraordinary. Come on.
Oh, come on. Jobs for the boys. You know, your dad. His dad was the Prime Minister. Now he's the Prime Minister. Yeah. Oh. You remember Pierre?
I don't remember Pierre.
There aren't many people in positions of power with hair like Poldark. That's all I'm saying.
Poldark, yeah.
No, that's probably
true. And he wears
true.
a vest, which I've noticed in some of the photos.
Oh, I haven't seen those. I have not seen those. Do you want to DM me on Twitter?
No, I'm not on there. But, yeah, he wears a vest. I wear a vest around the house. I get mocked. He wears a vest in some of these photographs, and people think, oh, he's drop dead gorge. It's not fair.
Is it generally held view that he's drop dead gorge?
Girls?
Oh, God.
Some nodding around the room, yeah.
It's a terrible moment when the non-mic team thought, oh, can we speak? I don't know if we're allowed to actually speak. They both looked a bit panicky. Well, I can, just to set the record straight, no, you are not allowed to speak.
Yeah.
I think you'd already done that by calling them the non-mic team.
Non-mic. I think most people would accept. I mean, he's JFK 2.0, isn't he? That's what they're calling him.
Are they?
Yes.
That's not catchy, though, is
so
it?
scathing of him.
No, it's fine. There's always something alluring about Canadians as well, because you feel they'll be gentle.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I can't. He's got
got
tattoo.
tattoos.
I know,
not just one.
Has he got several tattoos?
He's got. I know a bit about him. He said the globe I got when I was 23.
Globe? Was he at the...
Yeah, he's got an underglobe as well.
It's a picture of me and John Thompson each holding up a flute of champagne. The tattoo.
Oh, I'd love it if he had that tattoo.
Oh, that would be great.
Both of you giving it back, saying, I'm not allowed this, actually.
No, exactly.
He's got a raven, which he actually got for his 40th birthday.
Raven at the Globe?
Yeah.
The whole thing is based on the party.
Yeah.
So, but that's it, a globe. What do you mean, like the planet Earth?
I
kind
don't
of a
think
globe.
it's Shakespeare's globe, darling.
No, but do you remember that Noel Edmonds has got 2 globes hovering over his head with his parents' spirits in them?
That's a good point.
I wonder
yeah.
if it represented that.
Do you think that this Trudeau chap is a long-time fan of Noel Edmonds, and he's gone, well, if Noel
You never
Edmonds...
know, do you? Apparently, our Queen of Hearts loved Noel Edmonds.
Yeah.
They all love Noel Edmonds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
There you go.
You heard it here first. I don't know. I mean, does that make him a brilliant bloke? 'Cause I've known lots of terrible, terrible, terrible people with tattoos.
Will you leave him alone? Just because he's got nice hair and
you
he's got
leave him alone.
not a bad,
Yeah.
not a bad job.
It's not a bad job, is it? I understand, though, the crush that you've got. I felt exactly the same way when Angela Merkel got in power. Exactly the same.
You know, when it's kind of, it's hard.
Oh, yeah.
What was that noise, Frank?
Is that my phone?
That
I
was
can
the,
only
That
apologise.
was the euphemism alarm. When you,
Yeah,
This is how One Directioners feel.
No, but you know, there's
It's nice at my age in life to feel this way.
Sam
a
Cam.
crush.
Sam Cam's got a. She's got a tattoo.
dolphin, isn't it?
I wish you wouldn't call her that. Just a slight pout, that's all.
I don't like the dolphin tattoo. It's a bit Instagram quotes about Marilyn Monroe, isn't it?
Well, I think
It's a bit basic.
Planet Earth is a bit. I went to India in my gap year and came back with this, isn't it? It's just him saying, yeah, I'm a bit cosmic. All these people with, like, you know, Oriental quotes have no idea what they mean. The absolute fools.
Yeah.
It's only Prime Minister, yeah, fool.
Also, it's well known that the UK are developing like a warhead thing with dolphins, aren't they? When they'll be able to attack warships. They're going, you put explosives in their beak, sort of thing.
That sounds
Not in their
nice.
beak, but you fit them.
Is that right?
And then they train them to go into the side of warships. They blow up the warship, obviously in wartime, and the dolphin is obliterated.
Oh, that's nice.
And when that's happening, how's Sam Cam going to feel then with a stupid dolphin tattoo? Because it's a bit hard to balance those two things. Oh, my husband's blowing them to smithereens, but I've got one on my ankle.
Yeah, I suppose.
I like the way you started that and you went, well, it's well known. You sounded so bloke in the pub in Smethwick.
Yeah, well, I am a bit that. Jeremy Corbyn, of course, on his speaking of tattoos, on his back has got an enormous Pokemon.
I see.
Yeah,
Gotta catch 'em all.
yeah.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Got a text in from one of our readers.
Okay.
Read the Meerkat. Meerkat? I was thinking of
Meerkat.
Angela Merkel.
It's nearly Christmas, isn't it? It's time for the Meerkat.
Angela Meerkat. They also have an Angela Meerkat character.
Yeah.
Are they all men in that? They all male.
The Meerkats.
So I think Nicole Kidman's female in that.
No, I know,
advert,
but at
isn't
the
she? Even though
Meerkat, she's not
6
acting
foot
like a
Just
meerkat. The
about.
children obviously will be they'll be a sight to behold. I think one of the most tremendous things about the Meerkat adverts is that they've been on a long time now, and I remember Boz, my son, loved them. In his, he used to, really point at them and be quite excited by the big eyes and all that. So I've probably watched 1,000 examples. I've no idea what they're advertising. Not the first idea. Don't tell me. I think
No,
it's
Okay.
right. I love that I don't know.
Yeah, I love that you don't know. We've had a text in from 499.
Okay.
Long time reader, first time texter. Meerkat ads. I believe Sergei is Alexander's gopher. And he spelt it Goafer.
Oh. Yeah, is that how you spell gopher? A gopher is it's an animal,
Is
isn't
it like a meerkat?
It's, yeah.
I think Vince in Deputy Dog, wasn't he a gopher?
I'm not that familiar with his body of work, to be
Muskie was a
honest.
muskrat. You remember?
I do remember Deputy
I ain't
Dole.
going to raid the hen house, Deputy Dog. I'm just going to see what happens next. Whoa, let's go! And you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I remember that exact bit.
Exactly. Well, I think the
Incredibly
silent.
reenacted.
I think they're near-sighted gophers, if I remember rightly.
Is that right?
And there was Gordon.
Gordon the Gopher was very...
in the
Very
broom
famous.
But I
broom
never
cupboard.
realised that
think
was
he
a
was,
pun
isn't it?
on gopher.
I think go for that and go for the animal.
Yes.
We've also had a text about...
So good work.
yeah.
499.
We've also had a text about Stanley Unwin, who you said earlier was... one
Let's
of your
call him
comment
Professor
viewers.
Stanley Unwin.
Frank, don't forget Prof. Stanley Unwin also appeared on Small Faces Records. Steve from East Kilbride
Yes, he was
reminded
certainly
you.
on Ogden's Not Gone Flake, I believe.
That's,
He was, honestly, he was a genius. Forgotten. I sense that's the way I'm
someone
going.
else has texted 720.
You'll never be forgotten, Frank.
No, I think, and what's more, I'll never be a genius. Carry on.
You are to me.
720 has texted, just watch Stanley Unwin interviewing the bloke who did the voices of Bill and Ben. Hilarious. Young people wouldn't understand. He slightly
No one
bemoans
understood.
at the end of his
That was the point. Nobody understood it.
Yeah.
Ooh, deep joy in the thunder mould.
Anyway, we were talking about Sam Cam because of her tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was some other Cam action this week. Did you see that David Cameron, DC, went to the pub
Oh, yeah.
with the Chinese
Oh, no, it was
premiere?
one of those relaxing moments.
Xi
The politician.
Jinping.
yeah.
All sorts. They had suits, but, no ties.
Well,
Yeah.
I noticed the
No ties.
landlord.
No ties was the sign on the pub door. But no, it's all right. It's Chinese.
Oh, Frank.
No, I'm joking.
New Faces 1973. I noticed the landlord wore a suit and a tie,
Oh,
jacket
did
and a
they?
tie,
Did he?
while he was pulling the pint.
Oh, and they didn't.
I know, I noticed that. What did they wear? Like a blouson, leather jacketto?
No, I think didn't they have suits on?
Oh, but no tie.
Yeah, that was it. I don't think the Prime Minister of China go any more cash than that.
I've got to be honest, I think that the landlord had been tipped off that they were going.
You're kidding me.
I
Yeah.
know it's a conspiracy
out.
theory of sorts.
Get out.
but They were in and out.
No, go on, get out. No, go on. No, right. No, right out. Right.
They had fish and chips and 2 pints of beer, and they were in and out within about 20 minutes, it said in the paper. Now, I've been in country pubs. Sometimes it takes that long to find a member of staff to ask where the toilet is. There's no way that they weren't tipped off.
It takes it that long to find anyone sober. No,
They didn't have fish and chips.
They had fish and chips.
They
yeah.
did. I tell you what, though, for all the fact that it's a remarkable thing, that the David Cameron, the Chinese Prime Minister's in a pub, when I saw the pictures, my first thought was, God, it's a lot, isn't it, a pint? Look at all that, you're going to drink all that?
It's a lot.
Believe a man who used to drink so much. Now I see it now, I think that's such a lot to drink. Oh, won't they be all bloated? Burpy. Prime Minister China probably never had a beer before.
No.
You've never had a beer?
Do they have beer? They have the sake, don't they? Or is
They're
that
so
Japan?
old-fashioned.
Sake, they
Have I
have-
done the classic
they have a
Japan-China mix-up?
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Oh, I hate doing that. That's one of my worst. I called, the waving cat, the beckoning cat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maniki
see.
Nano or something it's called.
The beckoning cat that
Yes.
welcomes.
I think it's called Maneki Nano or something.
It is not called that.
It's got some name like that.
That was in Iloilo when there was a
Can you
Chinese
text
prisoner.
in if you can confirm what that's cat called? It's something like Maneki Nano.
Is it Chinese or Japanese? Because I saw them for sale
That's
in
Chinese,
Japan,
isn't
so
it?
I've
No, that's
always called them
Chinese.
Japanese, and then they were Chinese. Oh, I'm sorry if anyone's listening, or even the cat.
If anyone's listening, aim higher. Someone's listening, surely.
I would never know that for certain. I never know that for certain. I always think they start listening.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
I was right. Well, nearly right. I was 1k out.
£1,000.
956 has texted us to say Maniki Neko means beckoning cat in Japanese, and they have them in Japan and China. That's pretty good intel that I knew that.
It also means that you do have them in Japan and China.
And what was
Yeah.
more impressive? I think we know.
Oh, I think,
Maniki
Maniki Neko was very...
Maniki Neko.
Thank you.
Maniki Neko.
We'll never forget it.
Maniki Neko.
Doesn't quite work.
Nearly, though. Near enough to give it a crack at this time of day on a Saturday. Yeah.
Prince Andrew was in the pub as well.
No.
He was. Apparently he had a suitcase selling watches to the locals.
Was he asleep? He was asleep in the speech, wasn't he?
He was in... I saw pictures of him with the Prime Minister
When
of
Xi
China.
Jinping did the speech.
I can't say Prince Andrew without saying, here he is, here he comes.
On the subject of him, you said he had a suitcase and he was selling stuff. Mrs. Cameron, Sam Cam, apparently gave...
Oh, Mark Cameron?
She gave Madame Peng a handbag as a gift.
Oh, handbag!
Yeah.
550 notes.
Isn't that a bit Coles to Newcastle to give someone that's going back to China a handbag?
Why?
Because that's where they make all the knockoff ones that they come
Is that
here.
where they come from?
Yeah,
I don't know if we're allowed to say that.
Give her a copy of 24 as well, why don't you?
£550, that bag.
What was it?
Lovely bag, Sophie.
I'll tell you what, it won't be next week when they're bringing them back.
It's a new designer, well, not new in my world, but in your world. And
Do you think she took it away just so she had the template?
Yeah, exactly.
Sophie Hume.
I think that was a nice gesture, though.
Oh, did you?
She gave the lady a bag.
I hope she put money in it. If you give someone a bag or a wallet, you're supposed to
That's
put money
a bit
in.
common, Frank.
No, it is so that they'll always have money.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have put the beckoning cat in. Open the top flap, there it is, calling you into the bag.
Maniki Neko.
Yeah. Shall
The
we bring
worst
that
thing
out?
about the Meerkat ad, people on social media using simples. That's 437.
Yes, that's a very good point.
Cool.
Yes.
And I forgot about that, and I think probably because of that we should mention it again.
Okay. Can I ask one more question about fish and chips? Because they had
In fact,
some...
let's call those people who do that, let's call them simples.
Yeah.
The simples on social media.
Simplestons.
Yeah.
Something like that. What condiment is acceptable with fish and chips?
I'm Catholic. I can't.
Because I'll tell you why I ask. In our house, we've not got any tartar sauce. I've gone off the tomato sauce.
You've said goodbye to tartar sauce.
Yeah, we've said goodbye to it. Newsflash, I've been having salad cream with fish and chips.
Whoa!
Wowza.
Discuss.
Really?
I've never tried
The
that.
fact that you've been having salad cream
Putting it
after
out there.
1980 is extraordinary in itself. Can
No,
you
I
still
think
buy it?
it's very in at the moment.
Love
Oh,
it.
is it retro?
Yes.
In a Heston way?
It's very in. I am quite strict on that. I never put ketchup on chips, fish and chips.
Really?
Once the
But when we
fish...
go for brunch, I always put ketchup
No,
on
but
my
that's
chips.
different because you don't have fish and chips, do you?
Oh, no. I
Once
don't.
the fish is there, then it's salt and vinegar only.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's absolute definite.
Is that right, then?
Yeah, no question.
What about lemon?
Oh, come on. No.
Malden sea salt.
Pardon? What, is that the crunchy stuff?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, no, that's ridiculous. No. Salt and vinegar, that's it. Although I worked in a chip shop
I
once.
sometimes feel we inhabit different ecosystems.
You worked in a chip shop?
I worked in a chip shop, and briefly, and the bloke in there had a sort of a, I don't know what you'd call it. It was a big tub of water, and he used to put one 1 pint bottle of vinegar into it, mix it up, and then refill the bottle. So the actual vinegar on the counter was about 1 part vinegar, 25 parts water. That is what we have to put up with.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We've got some views in on, you've stirred up some controversy with this vinegar material of yours.
Well, it was stirred up.
Yeah.
Why? What's the controversy?
Oh, it's all
It's all
kicking
kicking. It is rather. We have 234 says I've been suspecting the diluting of vinegar at even the award-winning chip shops for many years.
What there? Yeah, you go. Oh God, I'm going to be subpoenaed.
I think you should start a campaign for real vinegar. That's from 234.
I think that makes sense.
Campaign
It's not that
for real
expensive.
vinegar.
It's not. What would that be called?
Camr.
No, that's not so good.
Yeah, the camera people have really got it stitched up. That's
But how much is a bottle of vinegar? It's not. They could afford to give us the
You're
real
probably
deal.
asking the wrong person.
Why?
Well, is it balsamic?
Definitely not. It's
Okay.
malt.
I favour apple cider vinegar.
Oh,
actually.
you are.
mean-
What, on fish and chips?
No, of course not.
Oh, it's got to be Sarson's, hasn't it? Oh, am I allowed to do that? Sorry.
I use salad
Don't
cream.
say vinegar, say Sarson's.
Are we going to say Sarson's, all of us? We have now.
Okay.
I favour salad cream. We've also had a counterbalance to it. Someone not so mean to the chip shop saying fish and chip shops buy in concentrated acetic acid, acetic acid, which would cause horrible burns if you used it as it is. Hence, it gets diluted to become vinegar that we use in day-to-day life.
Who's that from? Mr. Cod? Well, that's good to know that they buy dangerous acid and water it down and give us that instead of vinegar.
That's what we want. That's what we want.
I'll tell you what I have done in desperation if I've been out.
Oh,
Do we
don't
wanna
tell us
know this?
story?
I've bought a big pickled onion with it and then squeeze the pickled onion onto the chips.
Have you?
You
To get some proper vinegar onto it.
Bizarre.
Is that bizarre?
Yes.
If that's bizarre, then what's this? Readers are going to have to trust us on that one.
Tony Cannings has tweeted us. Whilst that may not be newsworthy in itself, he does say chips and mayo is the staple diet of a Smedwickian. Salad cream, though, is a bit too decadent. What say you?
I think that's referring to people who live in Smethwick, obviously, which is
Yeah.
where I came from.
Oh, me too.
There was no chips and mayo when I was there. God, it's changed. I can't believe they developed some sort of cafe society in Smethwick. Oh dear, you can't hold on to the old ways. Like when famous actresses used to sleep with other human beings rather than meerkats.
Now they're all over the Meerkats.
Oh, I mean, God, what's happened to us? Is it the end of times?
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
I'd just like to read out some correspondence from Jamie on the Twitter.
Okay,
I want a new tablecloth for a new table.
makes sense.
I love that Wurzel song. Is green felt acceptable?
Green felt.
Yeah.
It is if you're a Subbuteo enthusiast.
Yeah.
What,
or
green-
snooker.
Green
Yeah,
felt.
As a
Get a
tablecloth.
drill, six
It's a
six
bit-
holes.
I think it's fine if you're a member of the Sylvanian families,
Yeah.
but I think for adult humans, perhaps go for a white lace.
I like, that general sense of silver service.
I don't like felt as a rule.
No. What about fuzzy felt?
Oh, now you're talking.
Yeah.
It's a whole different kettle of fish.
So, we should, I think we should discuss, the...
Justin Trudeau.
No.
Oh.
The interview of the week, I think it would be termed, with Daniel Craig.
Bond.
Oh, yes.
The Bond interview.
James Bond.
Yeah. You mean
My
the
name is
interview-
Bond.
You mean the interview where the lady
James,
said...
you're right.
The lady said...
Go
to him-
on about it. I got it first time. No, but I was giving you the crit. No, I don't need that. I'm just looking for your room. And also, I don't know if we're allowed to say Christian name anymore. Well, I mean, don't. Anyway, that was an outtake from
I was
Spectre.
enjoying that. Enjoy that. Like the blooper reel.
I
or
like the way the
something.
villains are all so respectful, and even when they're about to kill him, they still call him Mr. Bond.
Yeah, exactly.
By that point, you just say James or you idiot.
Or Bond.
You wouldn't say you absolute
Bond,
idiot.
Bondo.
Yeah, why do they go, so Mr. Bond? Imagine someone's going to kill you and said, so Mr. Skinner. I mean, it's quite odd.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's a bit... I'd like to
Formal.
think even if someone was going to kill me, 30 years in show business, I'd have a certain amount of respect.
Yeah.
Mr. Liberty, you might get.
Yeah, right.
So,
Yes, anyway, so he
Craigie.
was interviewed by...
someone who works here.
she works in this building. She's not an absolute employee, I don't
For Heat
think.
Radio, yeah. But
Right.
Heat Radio.
Sarah Powell?
Okay.
Sarah Powell. I bet you that's... if you're listening, Sarah, you can have that. It's your jingle.
Can I have that?
Or your ringtone. I'll do it by Sarah Powell. You can have that.
She's going to love this.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I would like to defend Sarah Powell, because she did those junket situations.
What's she done now?
Let's leave it there. No, those junket situations are very tiresome.
Oh, yes.
And they just sit you in front of that board, don't they? I'm sure you've been there, Frank.
Yeah, I mean, in case anyone...
You've
is
got
there
to
anyone on
spice
the
them up a
planet?
bit.
You turn up in a hotel room, usually, you sit down, and then everybody gets, like, 15 minutes, and there might be 30 people comes and ask you the same questions. So that's why I think people get into a thing where they think, God, I've got to ask him something different.
Exactly.
So I'll ask him to pout.
Fair enough.
You know, instead of, what's going on in this film, and what was it like being Bond again, and all those things he gets asked 10 million times, give us a pout.
He didn't like it.
He did not like it.
In case you don't know, he was asked this, and he just said, what did he say? Move on.
He did.
He said, I think you should move on.
Yeah. I think he thinks he's Ray Winston now. Like, that's the sort of thing, jog on, why don't you? Don't you think?
Why didn't he just give her a pout? For goodness sake.
Or a peck.
Also, the James Bond franchise doesn't have a long history of treating women as sexual objects, so what goes around comes around.
Good point. Good point.
Why didn't she say that?
Although, in fairness, Frank,
Barrow,
you
in
should
fairness.
declare that you do have beef with Bond.
Well, yeah.
Why is this?
Well, he did. I mean, he did take my cleaner.
Bond stole my cleaner.
Yeah,
He did.
he did. But you know, that's water under the.
This
I don't know,
isn't
is it
one of
water or is
Frank's-
it domestos? Anyway, it's all under the bridge.
This isn't one
vinegar.
of Frank's
Vinegar under the
made-up
bridge.
things, by the way. This genuinely happened.
Yeah, I think last time he mentioned it, it got picked up by the tabs, didn't it?
Did he?
Yeah. Oh, I love it when we make the papers.
Oh, I remember the last time I was picked up by the tabs. Oh God, it made me cry. I just think of what happened. I have some sympathy for him, because he's probably thinking I'm a serious actor and I shouldn't be pouting.
Yeah.
But if you're a serious
Was
actor...
a serious actor.
If you're a serious actor and they offer you Bond, I think you have to say no, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if you do Bond, you've got to join in a bit.
Well, this is what I liked about Roger Moore. I mean, he went...
He was not a serious actor. He
And
was
I
a-
loved him for it.
he was an
camped
ironic
it
actor.
up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But, I can imagine him thinking, shut your face. At least he didn't say that.
Yeah.
And I feel a bit sorry for both of them. My advice
I
is...
don't feel sorry for him, Frank.
If ever...
I don't.
well, you don't know my cleaner.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So, yes. What was we talking about?
We were talking about Daniel
Craig.
when Grumpy met Bobley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did seem a bit grumpy, and I kind of get it, because, I mean, one of the other things that she asked him was why he didn't get his kit off in this film.
Yes.
And I think that might have been the straw that broke the camel's back, because I think he was right on the edge of just going, I'm 47! Leave me alone!
No,
He's obviously
but I
not
bet
as
he's-
fit as he
I bet
was.
he
in
goes
Don't
to
do
the
that
gym.
job then, love.
I bet he goes to the gymnasium every day.
3 times a day.
Yeah.
He goes.
Three
Well, why is
Three
it-
times a day he goes.
Well, why is he going then if he doesn't want a fabulous bod? And what does he
Because-
want a fabulous bod for? To hide it? Ridiculous.
he
Next.
likes... Next? Next in what queue, pray?
It's hard though, because like I say, he's been asked this stuff, he's
Yeah.
going mad.
And he's a taciturn character.
But
Is
when
he?
you sign up to be James Bond, you got to expect a certain amount of publicity he's
Yeah.
going to be doing.
Maybe someone didn't... maybe he ticked the no publicity box, like the lottery, and they didn't get
Maybe.
the form properly.
That
It
is
wasn't,
a good
but
point.
if also sometimes you can ask a rubbish question and get a surprisingly brilliant answer, which is always exciting. I was watching the Champions League highlights this week.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy, Louis van Gaal, the Man United manager, was on, and the bloke asked him about what did you think of the referee, and he said, "Oh, the referee was very good. I have enjoyed his whistling," which is a brilliant answer to a quite a dull question.
Very dull.
Good.
I always ask, if ever I'm struggling with a celebrity in
what
an
do you
interview,
ask them?
I always say, when's the last time you fell over?
That's a good question.
It's amazing what riches that can throw up.
Oh, yeah.
But there's not many. I remember I was very pleased. I interviewed David Essex, and one of my questions was, you know, when you're in a car, when he was like mega, when you're in a car and there's all those girls pressing their faces against the window, going, you know, when you're mobbed, climbing on the car, what facial expression do you adopt?
Did he do it?
And he did it. He did it for me. Showed a couple of the things that he does.
I like that.
And of course, there's the one. So ultimately, this is what she should have done. So ultimately, Daniel, where is Wally? And then they got a chance to go a bit philosophical.
He likes to. The thing about Craigie, may I call you Craigie, is that he likes to do what I believe Pete Waterman refers to as own stuff.
All right.
He won't. He just thinks, and I think you're right. I think that's the problem. I think perhaps the Bond role wasn't the right one for him in retrospect.
No, but then I've heard he's negotiating with the Meerkats.
Yeah.
What if he turns up in one of them after all this?
And they do a civil partnership.
Is he gorgeous?
Meerkat civil partnership.
Is he gorgeous, Daniel Craig? Is he?
I used to think so.
Right.
But that was pre-JT.
JT.
Justin Trudeau.
Oh, okay. No, I think he's all right, isn't he? He can act.
I think he's
He's absolutely
handsome.
fine.
I think he's good looking, and I saw him in the what's the one where he wears a pair of chinos in a film? I think it's
Oh, I've gone off him.
Cowboys versus Aliens.
Oh,
Have you
yes,
seen that?
that's a good film.
I'll tell you what.
Oh, is that all you remember? He wore a pair of chinos.
I'll tell you why I remember that he wore chinos. He's got the biggest glutes I've ever seen in that film. Honestly, it sticks right out his bumbaliri, as I would
Can I
call
tell
it.
you? Can I tell you?
Discussing it with the children.
He wears a sort of a wrist strap that can shoot down.
What is this film?
No, it shoots down spaceships, right? But all Alan remembers is the chinos.
I remember the bottom in the chinos.
How normcore are you?
But they look massive.
All right.
Honestly.
It's people having, Finn and haddock for breakfast listening to this.
When I look at him in the Bond films, he looks he's got a strange looking facial feature. He looks a bit like Gollum on the protein shakes to me. That's what I see him
Frank,
as.
can I just say, sorry, while you were talking about Finn and haddock, one of our customers, I'm calling them customers, wants to know... hi Frank, are you a cod or haddock man? That is from Peter Rowe in Brisbane.
Definitely cod.
Oh,
Okay.
haddock. You didn't ask me, but
I think
like
with
a
cod,
haddock.
because I read a book about the cod, the fact that cod is quickly disappearing, it's to catch it while you can. That's always my approach to endangered species.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text us on 81215. It's been a bit light, the texting today. I often think that's perhaps our fault.
Do you think
We've
so?
had some technical problems.
Have we? Oh.
We keep getting locked out.
And also you were asking for texts about a guy who used to do funny voices that's not the most high-profile figure. I think sometimes you reap what you sow.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. So,
We've had a lot of
fair enough.
texts
So
about dressing.
have we?
The salad cream,
okay.
etc.
My condiments observation has really kick-started something.
Yeah.
Anyway, follow the show on Twitter, at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Yes, I said via. Get over it.
Why not?
Frank, what about when the cockerel just caught me taking a selfie of myself? Of myself.
You were totally taking
I know.
a selfie.
Without any irony. I just thought I looked quite nice.
I think you're right.
I saw a guy the other day who had a selfie stick but collapsed in, and he was taking a photograph of something over the road from him, which he could have used his hand for.
I
it seems to me.
suppose that gets you a bit closer with the camera, if you think about it.
But he didn't extend it. He could have gone even further. But he had it... The phone was so close to his fingertips, and yet he was still using the gadget thing.
Stop talking about it.
Frank, that's a bit rude. Someone's telling an anecdote.
Well, it's 4 years in, though, to be fair. I have been on the show for a while now. I thought that was going to come in about week 3.
Oh, come on. No, the thing with Emily's hair is she's gone for, that Pebbles thing on the top that Pebbles Flintstone had.
Oh, yeah.
And when you combine it with the headphones,
Yeah.
then it's got a fabulous sort of sort of olive oil.
Oh, good.
You know, it's almost like you get a couple of side pieces on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's nice to style your hair so it works with the headphones.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought of that before.
Yeah.
Thinking of doing a full quiff, but with a sort of a divot in the middle of my hair.
Well, it might
Okay.
be nice if you start with some hair product.
Start with some hair. Yeah.
Hey, you've got a lovely head of hair.
Oh, I hate my hair. I wish it had.
Oh, all right.
Well, cue Frank
That's
saying,
what
stop talking
Angela
about it.
That's what Angela Merkel said this week, talking
I
about
hate
her
my
husband in an interview. What about Beyonce?
Oh. Why you say it?
Beyonce is one of the people who has completely passed me by in
Has
the...
she?
How
do you
when
mean?
people are an enormous star and you think,
Yeah, Rihanna's a bit
Really?
like that to me.
yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
She shut her assistant down. On
Yeah.
she threw shade at her on the red carpet this week.
She threw shade at her.
Deadly Nightshade. She's an assassin. That's what
Oh,
she did.
okay. I assumed Shade was some rapper.
No.
No.
It's,
No, we should. She was. Her stylist was adjusting Beyonce's outfit,
she's
Gown,
rearranging her.
yeah.
a
and
bit,
it was
wasn't
more out than fit, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, it's
Yes.
low cut.
I mean,
Oh,
it
was
was
it
the
ever?
sort. I mean, it needed adjusting. It's not the sort of outfit you could allow to find its own pathways.
No.
So she was
as,
doing.
I believe Vic Reeves refers to it as wearing knout.
Yes. Well, it was the sort of adjusting that should have been done behind a beach towel in
Yeah.
ideal circumstances. But it's actually on the red carpet. I mean, why
Yeah.
leave it so last minute?
Yeah.
I know.
But
Oh,
apparently-
Beyonce.
But the woman was.
Beyonce, I'm glad you're not my fiancé.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting.
I think she might be a little bit high maintenance.
Maybe.
You think so?
She said stop it, but carried on smiling, didn't she? So it was sort of like, stop it.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Like a ventriloquist.
It
Stop
was.
it.
I think she does, doesn't she do ventriloquism in her act?
Yeah. She's got
She
a
has,
little...
what's it called, Sasha Fireguard?
that's right, yeah.
It's the name of the dummy.
Fireguard, that's right. Yeah.
And it sits on her lap.
And Judy, weirdly, she went very trad on the other,
Yeah.
Oh,
on
really?
the other dummy, yeah.
And
Sasha
she has
Fireguard
a bit
and
where she
Judy.
sits on a high stool with just hot pants and a little crop top.
That's right.
And she does a bit of so where have you been, my friend? I'm going to LA to see some football. Oh, and how was that? Sasha Fireguard. Well, you know, it was all right. I don't say it was great. It was all right. It's all right. It's a little break in there. You don't just want music.
Yeah, I mean, that
so
section
right,
stretches her audience, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah.
artistically, they're there for the singing and dancing, but they...
no, but they're so up for it that they
Yeah.
go with the vent stuff.
And I like that. I like that about her.
Yes.
I think it's good to take your audience to places that might not readily go.
Unfortunately, I don't think she's ever managed to say Beyonce through one of the dummies without
Difficult.
getting the
No.
Beyonce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beyond. It's,
Beyonce.
She has to
is how
change
they're
her
doing it.
name.
it's beyond
Beyonce.
her abilities. Yes. But
Yeah.
anyway, I was quite impressed by her professionalism that she can say stop it in a way that you would probably have stopped a runaway stallion that was going past.
She did,
It was said
didn't
with
she?
such
Yeah.
venom, but with the smile never. I mean,
Oh
what?
no, well that's because she was practicing the ventriloquism
Of
again.
course.
Yeah.
Stop it now.
Stuck
Yeah,
it.
I see how people are looking. It's good though. And what I like is, you know, she's doing brilliantly in her
Yeah.
career, but she's still taking
That's very
on
kind of you.
Still
I
taking-
appreciate that. She's doing brilliantly in her career.
Late review. But she's still adding to the talent with the vent thing.
With the vent thing, yeah.
Respect.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Shall we take...
Late news in.
Oh, yeah.
Beyonce's still doing quite well.
I think we should take a little wander.
I take a little wander on a Sunday morning. It really is a treat.
Oh, I love that one.
That was the loser.
How dare you?
Do you remember we had a vote and that was the one that didn't make
I
the
prefer.
thing? It's like when
I like that one.
Susan Boyle became second to what were they called? Fortification. Pardon? Diversity.
I like the way Daisy whispered it.
When they whispered diversity, I thought, oh, what have I said?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dear.
Would you like to start, Alan?
Yes.
Great.
Dear Frank, Emily and Alan,
Yeah.
I often listen to the show on absolute 80s or 90s, but this got me to thinking, should Frank's...
Absolute 80s, 90s. Sorry, that was a fall reference.
I got it. But this got me to thinking, should Frank's objection to splitting hours into oppressive twelfths apply to decades as well?
Oh.
Who decided that we should demarcate a period of years in groups of 10? Though born in 1979, I like to think of myself as a child of the 67 to 84s.
Oh.
Quite hard to read that, it's all hyphenated. And that's from Greg.
It's a good point, because in case, if you're new to the show, I have a real thing about the fact that everything happens on the hour, 20:15, 20 past. So I'll just read you randomly some of my alarm
Oh, this will be interesting.
things.
I mean, Frank, we're trying to do a breakfast radio show.
6:04, 6:09, 6:24, 6:39. These are just some of the times I've got up recently.
Thanks.
Why can you read that on your phone? Is that...
In your alarm section?
In my alarm section, I can't tell.
But don't you keep?
What
Do
are
you
you-
keep all your previous
going on?
alarms?
No.
Would you like to...
Why not? I keep
I
mine.
just set an alarm. I don't.
Would you like me to...
0543.
Would you like me to take to see my leader?
I'm not sure I understand.
Well, look, I'll show you.
Yeah,
you
can
know
I
when
see
you
it,
when you
please?
set an
I'm not
alarm
sure
on
this
the
is good
phone,
radio,
you
but
just,
I love-
just talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Look, you see,
your
there's
fault.
there's my...
Oh my goodness! Look at them all.
Yeah, well, I have to get up at a variety of times. That's my life.
You two are swapping alarm times. and I'm
chose-
taking a selfie. Is
I
this the end of
chose this
it?
crazy life, and that's it.
Why don't you
I-
just edit the previous days? So if you've done 6:24 and the next day
don't
you've
have
got to
time.
get up
I
at
do that.
6:30,
Simply don't have time.
You want to know what mine was my last alarm?
it takes the same
What time
amount
did
of
you-
time
yeah, go
to
on.
set another alarm.
0543.
There you go. You see, we're
Was that for today?
rebelling
None of your
against.
beeswax.
Goodness me.
Yeah, you do get historians talk about the long 18th century.
Oh.
You're not happy with that?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry I brought it up.
Frank, can I tell you, when you've got I'm calling them the alarm back catalogues that you
Yeah,
have there.
yeah.
Do you ever take a nap in the day?
I do.
I sometimes set the alarm. If it's 3 p.m, I'll set it
Okay.
for 3:42. I love looking back on those ones. Memories of the naps.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It just seems so decadent.
Little memories like the sand pits of my mind. Yes, the long 18th century is traditionally, I think, from 1688 to 1815.
That's a terrible century. Good.
No, it just works out better, because I think it's the glorious revolution to, so-called, to Waterloo.
Yes.
And it's just a neater thing.
This
Neater
is like
than...
ITVB does Simon Sharma.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the 60s started about 67 at the early... maybe late 66.
Right.
If you look at the crowd, if you ever watch footage of the England winning the World Cup, look at the crowd. It's all blokes in suits and ties and stuff. They're not... There's no one in caftans.
You're right, Frank.
I would say the 60s started... the autumn of 66, when George Harrison was the first Beatle to grow a moustache.
But then those football fans weren't representative. I mean, for example, if you saw me and then some other people, we might look like we're from different decades.
I think that was a
That's
reference to me.
Well, we'll have a think about that then.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
We're still in email corner.
Email corner?
In email. I'll put a
Captain
pause
Email.
in between each word.
Okay.
Hi, Frank and the team. You were wondering in your recent podcast whether there are any other tools named after people. Can I just say, this was a show that you did where I was not here.
Oh, sorry.
And this moment was the only bit of it that I heard. I was walking past my radio on my way somewhere, and I heard you talking about, as they say, your example was the Phillips screwdriver.
Yes.
And they then say, well, what about the Stanley knife? Happy to help, prisoner 833.
Oh, I think that's
I heard about 10 seconds of that show, and I heard you going, oh, Phillips screwdriver. I stood by the radio, and I thought, even though I'm not on the show, they're bound to mention the Allen key. They're absolutely bound to mention.
But here's the thing with the Allen key.
Oh my God!
Is it definitely called the Allen key, or is it the ALUM Allen key?
It's the Allen key.
Is it Allen as in the human name? The human name?
I thought it was ALLEN.
Well,
Yes.
it is, but I don't think that matters. I think we shouldn't.
I think it does.
It's not alum.
I don't think it is alum. In fact, I think recently it started to be called the hex key, sadly.
Get out of town.
That's what they've started to say.
I've never heard the hex key.
Yeah, because if you think about
Extraordinary
it,
exchange.
Is it named after
Good
Jonah Hex, the comic book Western hero with the scarred mouth?
I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it is named after him?
scarred mouth.
Yeah, it's like a weird... It looks a bit like... you know when you break a pizza and the mozzarella won't let go? That's what Jonah Hex's mouth looks like.
Is this a real person? It's a cartoon.
It's not a real person, it's in a comic book.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
What about the jackhammer?
Jackhammer,
What about
very
it?
good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Very
Is
good.
there such a thing as a Timmy Mallet?
No.
Could you buy a Timmy Mallet from...
Not really.
Okay, not really. I love that. I was in a pub once and a bloke said, oh, have you ever walked through a pine forest early in the morning? And this other guy said, not really. And he let it go, of course I could. I said, well, hold on, what have you done then? Have you walked in the nearby to one? Or you have walked in a pine forest, but it was a bit later in the day?
Frank,
Of course, he thought I was being difficult.
What about when I was on a plane with the Deputy High Commissioner of Sri Lanka sitting next to him, and he said, I said, would you like a cashew nut? And he said, not really. Why not just say no or yes?
See, I think that he was inviting you to press him on it.
Well, then we had the infamous
If you're part of
Yole.
the expression. Yes, well, anyway, so... the reason we suddenly changed the subject is we all got a message flash up on our screens from Christian O'Connell's show saying, don't talk about tools, that's our area. They think we're trying to lure wicks.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Psycho, Simon Cowell, has been in the...
Simone.
He's been in the news a little bit this week. Apparently, he spent a period of time concerned that his baby hated him. He didn't like him.
Daddy Cowell, Daddy Cowell.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, his argument was, I thought my child hated me.
No,
because-
his argument was, well, look.
No, he said, I thought he hated me because he spent the first 7 or 8 months not talking.
He said he wasn't reacting to him.
Yeah, it strikes me that he might not have been one of the guys that read the parenting books.
No, I think not.
Yeah.
He said, I'm great with puppies because puppies respond, but babies don't do anything.
Can I ask, has there ever been a less impressive brag than I'm great with puppies?
Yeah.
Can you imagine hearing someone say that and think, really, what a brilliant person you must be, that you're great with puppies?
I once met
What
a
do you
bloke,
mean you don't get that smear on your clothes off them?
I once met a bloke who boasted that he was really good at paintballing. And I remember thinking,
But that's
how's
better.
that a boast? It's
That's better than being great with
still a
puppies.
pretty rubbish boast.
Unless you're paintballing them. I mean, you know, I'll give them like 10 seconds to get a bit of distance.
Yeah.
But who's great with puppies?
Simon Cowell.
I am.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
That's true.
I like when he did the...
With puppies in brackets. Yes. So that...
I enjoyed that when he did the interview, he did that thing which was a very Simon Cowell thing, which I think he's probably learnt during possibly one of those neuro-linguistic programming courses or something.
Do you think he's done that?
100,
Okay.
because he kept saying to Susanna Reid, who I'm a big fan of, FYI, he kept saying, well, look, Susanna, the thing is, Susanna, he said her name so many times.
Oh, those
Yeah,
things.
yeah, they do it. They know what they're doing, these people.
That's right, Emily.
That was creepy.
It was,
Wasn't it?
There's no two ways about
Did
it.
she, it was described as a flirty interview. I generally hate a flirty interview in all its manifestations, but did they kiss?
Did they?
No,
Did they do the sort of, it's been lovely meeting you, kiss thing?
Oh.
I don't think so, unless it was an episode of Hollyoaks Nights I missed.
I ask because he is a man who I can imagine lets... he's always on about how he loves dogs and stuff. I think he would... A man who would let like a puppy or a grown-up... I let them really lick his mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, really lick it. Do you know what I mean? The sort of people that let them really
I
lick
know,
their mouths.
I'm one of those.
Oh, you don't let them lick your mouths.
With the Ross's dogs, because I feel they're clean and they've got...
No, none of them are clean. They've got dog germs.
Say that about my close friends.
The dog.
Dare you?
Oh, no, those people where you get like an airlock where the tongue is sort of formed a little air pocket between the tongue and the roof of the mouth.
Yes, I
the
know
human
that.
mouth.
Yeah.
I know
It's
that.
absolutely disgusting. I can forgive Simon Cowell everything except that.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
What are we talking about? Oh, Simone Cowell
Psycho.
and the child. Mm-hmm. I really like that Eric Cowell.
The child.
In what respect?
Well, in every respect. He's got a look in his eye, which I like. I think he's gonna... Your eyes are narrowing, Frank, and you're looking at me like I'm
Well,
mad.
babies all look pretty much the same.
No, he's got to be in here before
Generic
quality.
Cowell, that's what I call him.
No,
Eric Cowell.
Generic Cowell.
he has a been here before quality.
Oh,
Eric
lovely.
Cowell.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think he could be the next llama?
No,
Okay. It's worth an ask.
Simon Cowell would be quite a scary proposition as a father, though. He's got the mirrored aviators.
He's got a beard now.
He's got the shredded wheat hair, as Frank's pointed out previously on ER.
Bootcut jean.
You know what? I'd completely forgot he existed until I read that article in the paper.
Really?
Once you stop watching X Factor and stuff, these people, they go out of your lives.
These people, like Prince Charles.
It makes me realise, when people come up to me now and say, how come you're not on television anymore? You've only got to miss the odd bit and that's it, you've gone.
You
Yeah.
don't get long.
No.
No.
You do if you're,
No, you're right.
you do if you're FS.
Anyway, what else?
I tell you what I need to talk about. What about me in the saddle?
Can we talk about that?
Now, I should say,
Explain.
Frank and I have always been quite anti-equine, haven't we, Frank?
Yes. Well, I've tried riding horses, and I find them to be unkind.
We've always said
creatures.
nothing that big should be that neurotic, if that makes
Right.
sense. And I don't like the foaming at the mouth and the rolling eyes.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. But
You're used to that in the S&M community, aren't you?
yes,
Well, I was
that's
used to
when
that in
you're
the...
thinking, surely the safe word's coming in. When is it coming? I mean, I'm going to carry on, but it's your choice.
And I'll tell you what else Frank never liked about them. He never liked the fact that people used to say, you've got to earn their respect. Frank used to say, why do I have to earn their respect? They're a horse.
Horses. Also, I have a different angle on it now. Is that
Go on.
having had Heston Blumenthal on my back,
yeah.
I realise what the poor creatures have to put up with. Anyone who didn't hear last week's show is going to be pretty alarmed by that throwaway remark.
Well, I decided not long ago I was going to face my fear.
Oh.
I decided to get on a horse. I've discovered something, which is that I have the gift. I'm a natural horse, in the same way that I'm a Frank whisperer. I'm a horse whisperer also.
No.
I'm a very gifted horsewoman. I'm absolutely brilliant at it. I didn't... Honestly.
This is a step up from Great with Poppies, but not a big step.
I am really good. I've bought all the gear.
Well,
I've got a quilted jacket.
I didn't doubt. You
I've
haven't got
got
a
the hat.
quilted jacket.
I have.
Oh, I can't.
Saddle?
I've got the boots.
You got a saddle?
How dare you?
Crop?
Yes.
Have you?
Whip, I call it. The gloves. You need it all, you see. You need it all.
I used
need
to,
it all.
I used to ride. I've still got me boots. And
When you say you used to ride-
You used to ride?
What I like
In
is you get...
Smethwick, though, Frank.
You wear
Come
a
on, in
hard
the back
hat,
streets.
but you wear like a velvet cover on it.
That is nice.
What do you do that for?
Why don't they roll that out amongst the building community?
Well,
That would
I'll
be
tell
nice.
you why I bought my own hat, because the ones on offer at my stables, yes, my stables,
Brilliant.
they're a bit... I said, those are a bit Dad's Army. I'm not wearing those. I don't want to look like that. I need to look chic. But I'm honestly really gifted at it.
Do you gallop? Are you at the galloping stage?
No.
Oh, well, no. You rise in trot.
Of course!
Okay.
Yeah.
Canter and all sorts.
Oh, you're cantering.
Yeah, I'm
You guys know
cantering
the
all right.
lingo, don't you? You know the lingo.
Generic cantering. He was a good player.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you see, that's the thing, is that I think you just got to get to know them, and they do respect me, Frank. My horse at the moment, I've had a few. My current is Penny. I call her Christina Aguilera because they've got the long blonde, slightly matted
Is she
extensions.
dirty?
Oh, she's
With a double R. Well, I'm a bit astonished.
Are you?
Me too. This
Because
is an
I
about
really-
You want to
thing.
come and see me ride?
Yeah.
I really tried with horses because I've always loved the westerns, and so
Yeah.
I went on a cowboy holiday and all that in
Yes.
Montana. But it's a terrible pastime.
It's not. You know what you have to do? I've learned it's all about discipline. So it's not unlike you, Frank.
Who's discipline?
If they're going a bit off-piste or a bit wild, little tug on the reins.
Well, I did that. But if they know you're afraid, like all animals, they're not the nicest things.
Really?
If
Yeah.
I'm absolutely honest, I do think it's the pinnacle of human arrogance to think that the human is in charge of that massive creature. I don't think...
How
I think the
dare
horse-
you speak to me like that?
Well,
Absolutely dare you.
You
Unless
are
you've
not in
actually
charge
got-
of that horse. I mean,
If
you
you've
think
got-
you
so
are.
am.
if
There's
you got
no
one
way you
hand
are.
on the reins and then a revolver to the forehead, I think that's fair
It
enough.
doesn't know that,
What?
though.
I'll keep going. Honestly, I'll shoot you from under me.
What about when I fell in horse manure last week? Oh, my
Did
friend.
you?
I had to say to my friend, "Can you get that hay and wipe off my rear?"
You fell in. It's the most.
It was the most ridiculous Dick Emery / Benny Hill sketch ever.
Yeah.
Well, I went to pat the horse.
You know, you could win £250 and you've been trained.
Yeah.
and it bit my bag. So I went flying. I was so determined to keep hold of my bag, I'd rather lose my footing. Anyway, I ended up in manure. It was a disaster.
You know my terrible horse biting story, don't you?
No, what happened?
Oh, it's maybe too long for now. I accidentally, was getting on a horse and I hadn't completely tightened the saddle. So I put my foot in the stirrup and the whole saddle spun round 180 degrees and gave the horse an enormous Chinese burn.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
So he looked at me and I looked at him ashamed of what I'd done. And he very, very slowly bit me on the shoulder. Not a quick nip. He reached across and I just stood there. I thought, I'll take it. And the thing that always sticks in my mind is because of the length of a horse's face,
Yes.
that while he was still biting me, he was still looking at me admonishingly with his eyes. So still biting and looking at me as if to say, you know why I'm doing this, don't you?
Yeah.
But I had quite a big bruise. Anyway, on that...
Was it more painful or less painful than when Heston Blumenthal rode you up?
It was different. I thought the horse had some sort of reason, some rationale. Anyway, thank you very much for listening this morning. It felt a bit strange to me. But that's all right. Strange is, not the end of the world. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now, get out.
The Frank Skinner Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.